water, make sure it's clean in and clean out. Now thinking about it all the time, bow four. What we're going for is, for bow four, getting the feeling of stern four's rhythm. Drawing those finishes clean each time. Didn't send up any water. Right, let's work it up again now and have 15 really good ones and then wind it down.
It can't be the course that makes every oarsman in the world want to row at Henley. The oldest regatta course in the world is a collection of time-honoured quirks, as eccentric as it is beautiful. By international standards, it has too few lanes, it's the wrong length, and it's prone to currents that can favour one side of the course and make the contest unequal. And it can't be the rowing that makes every member of that social elite that still has debutantes and coming-out balls put Henley in her diary. There's probably no sporting event in the world where the spectators pay less attention to the spectacle. The in-place to be at Henley is the steward's enclosure. For those in here, Henley is an elegant frolic. For 4 days they'll sip Pimm's and champagne, and they'll promenade in blazers and flannels in languid Edwardian contrast to the hustle of life outside. To get into the steward's enclosure, you have to be elected by the stewards. They themselves are the self-electing establishment of old rowing men who run the regatta. But to get into the rowing, there's no social barrier. All you have to do is to be good at rowing. There are 250 crews here, and they come from all walks of life. For all of them, the days of training are days of lean dedication. These are the Thames tradesmen. They're the most fancied 8 in Britain, but men of no social pretension at all. One of them's a warehouseman, another's a clerk, another's a shop assistant. While more fortunate crews are boarding nearby and training on the course all day, the tradesmen have to travel down from London after work to get on the river. They've trained for 3 hours a day for weeks now. They have a good chance of winning, and they're set on doing it. One of their best oarsmen, and the one most determined to win, is Jim Clark.
I enjoy it. I enjoy racing. I enjoy winning. And I don't think we're a particularly popular club, so I enjoy winning even more.
Why aren't you popular?
Well, we got disqualified here a couple of years ago and created rather a scene over it. And we lost a lot of popularity like that, but I think if you tend to win anyway, people tend to go after you simply because they don't like success in others. It's one of those things, you see it in all walks of life.
Are you going to win this time?
I'll win 1 medal, I think. Yes, I should hope so. I wouldn't race here unless I thought I was going to win.
If you're going to be good, you've got to be dedicated to it. And that takes all your spare time up, you know, and you do sacrifice a certain amount of your actual professional living. Nobody works overtime, nobody stays at the office any longer than they need to. They're down to the boat club as early as possible and spend as much time on the water as possible.
It's the regatta, it's the sort of Ascot of the rowing world, you know. For all of Nottingham and everything, 2,000 metres and proper courses, but, you know, this is still Henley, and it's the oldest regatta, and so everybody wants to come here, you know. Why would the Americans and the Russians come from so far just to be here?
What do you think of the snob aspect of Henley?
Well, I don't mind, because these people, I suppose, that you would refer to, who have the snob sort of aspect and attitude and so forth that make up Henley, are the people that put the money into the regatta. So they're helping to pay for me to compete here. Because the entry fees to enter a crew at Henley are very cheap compared with the ordinary everyday regatta. So they've got to get the money from somewhere. So all these people over there eating their strawberries and drinking their champagne are paying for my racing up here, so I don't mind. If they enjoy it, well, that's all right by me. I enjoy my rowing here.
When you're too old actually to be in a boat, do you think you might join them with the strawberries and champagne?
I don't think I'd be wealthy enough. 3
miles down the river, another 8 is in equally strict training, but in greater comfort. Trinity College Cambridge's first and third boat club have just come in from their early morning row. Now they're playing a little croquet before breakfast. They're guests at a country house called Hambledon Place. As their captain says, it's a relaxing training base.
Well, lovely house, nice people looking after us. It's very relaxing. We get spoiled here.
Do you feel deprived of much in the way of high life while you're training?
Some of the crew may do, but I certainly don't. You know, I think we know what to expect when we come here. We know that we're going to spend most of the time rowing, the rest of the time sleeping or doing virtually nothing. And I think people accept that when they say they want to come to Henley. You know, I think if we went out to the pub every night or whatever, we wouldn't stand a chance of winning. So people do realise this.
First and third's Cox is late for breakfast because he's not allowed to eat any. Every morning he sits surrounded by eggs and bacon and friends doing their best to get heavier while he has to get lighter. He longs for dinner time when he'll get his only solid food of the day, 2 boiled eggs.
Very nice, yes. Perfect. And then they have a separate lot.
For the family who are giving the crew a home for the week, it's hard work, but the done thing if you move in Henley circles and have a large house nearby. The crew have impeccable credentials for the social side of Henley. One's from Eton, one from Winchester, 2 from Radley. Trinity first and third are on velvet. The mood is anyone for tennis, the setting is country house baronial, and their hostess pampers them like children.
I think probably the great key thing is that I must make them feel very relaxed and like home. You know, they can come in and if they want to sit and play the piano or they want to play croquet or just whatever they feel they want to do, they can, and no one's going to chase them off to do anything else, you know. Is the key to it, I think.
Are they tempted to stray, do you think?
First and third, I haven't found so, no. No, they're very dedicated lot.
Let's be really quick getting out here now. It's 10:05.
First and third and their American coach reckon they can beat all the British crews in their class, but they're not so sure about the foreign ones.
Shoulder high, up!
All they can do is train and hope. This is one of their last training outings before the regatta starts, and their coach has arranged for them to have a friendly brush with an American crew that's supposed to be good, but which he thinks they can just beat. The idea is to get them mentally conditioned into a winning frame of mind, psyched up.
And as soon as you're on, Andrew, paddle off.
The riverbank is crowded with wobbling coaches who speak in commanding voices across quiet water.
Make up your minds. Set about it. You mean business. Okay.
Which station do you want, Jesus?
Watcher, please.
Right, backing on this station, David.
Take 2 strokes, Ian.
First and third's coach is an American banker.
Go!
His rowing connection with the club began when he was at Cambridge reading economics.
Okay, hold it there.
Okay.
Pretty round.
Are you ready? Go!
Well done, boys. Well done.
Okay, let's go home.
Okay, come on, Ralph. Martin, I thought that was very useful work. On the whole, you know, you had a really fast, fine crew next to you, and you handled them quite reasonably, I thought. Okay, there are little fine points of tuning that are going to come on. You've got to get the quick catch all the time.
Unlike the Thames tradesmen, first and third are at Henley for more than just the rowing. They want to win, but even if they don't, they'll still enjoy the social side.
Well, Henley's really the meeting place for a large proportion of the better oarsmen in the country, I think. every year, and because you're training here for a week before the regatta, you get to see a lot of people who you haven't seen. Perhaps since last year at Henley, and people you were at school with, the people you row with at university, and club crews you've met at regattas, and people you've been meeting on and off ever since you've been rowing. Together with that, when the regatta is on itself, people I was at school with who perhaps don't row now come to the regatta, and people who I was at university with who never rowed themselves and are just interested to see other people who they're now going to be here rowing, or just here seeing other people.
Number 1, University of Washington.
In Henley Town Hall, the crews listen as the stewards preside over the draw for who shall row against whom. Under the stewards, Henley Regatta runs as smoothly as a lovingly maintained old Rolls-Royce. Here, they give an immaculate performance. One Russian competitor muttered, "We know that they fixed the draw, but we can't see how."
Number 10, first and third.
First and third get a good draw. They won't meet any of the tough crews from abroad until the quarter-finals. And the Thames tradesmen get similar luck in their class.
Catherine's, Cambridge.
Some of the stewards wear the pink socks and ties of the exclusive Leander Club. All are devoted to Henley. They listen wisely, make endless notes, and lend gravity to the occasion. The king of the whole Henley junket is John Garton, the chairman. He used to be in business as a concessionaire for Coca-Cola and retired wealthy enough to work unpaid in the champagne world of the regatta. He's genially determined to keep the standards up and the wrong sort of people out.
To make it more general and throw the thing open to the public, you would immediately lose the one thing that you hold dear and valuable, which is the sort of exclusivity of it. And it is exclusive, it must be, otherwise the thing would fail, in my view.
You have no qualms about excluding people, and even people who would like to be members.
Well, anyone can become a member. I mean, supposing you have somebody who lives here locally and wants to come and see the regatta, support it and entertain their friends, all they've got to do is to get another member to propose and second them, and assuming that they're not bankrupt or some other way desirable, we elect them. It's not exclusive in that respect.
They have to have a friend who is in already, though.
Yes, but there are 3,000 of them, and if they can't find one friend among 3,000, they're not very much good to anyone. They shouldn't be thought in the rowing world, at any rate.
Sunday morning, the regatta service. Oak pews, white flannels, and pink carnations. Hymns and prayer might make your boat go faster. Polishing it certainly will. Tony James, the captain of the Thames Tradesmen's 8, has got a mutiny on his hands. 4 of his best men have gone off on their own trophy hunting. They've entered a competition in a class that's widely considered to be beneath them. The scorn that they'll earn by an easy win could only be exceeded by the ridicule if they lost. So they're putting all their effort into training as a 4 at the expense of the 8.
We do have problems, you know. We have within the boat 1 or 2 people not quite as happy as others. This is inevitable because 1 or 2 people are better than others. And we have the problem of 4 of the people in the boat, the better 4, entering the 4s as well as the 8s. And this is one of the problems that we have. The 4 don't wish to go out in the 8, they just want to concentrate on their 4, which has upset us very much. To win both will be a tremendous achievement, but it's very, very difficult. As far as our club is concerned, the prestige will obviously be in winning the 8s, because we haven't won an 8 event at Henley before. and we have won a 4 event.
You're going out again before the races?
Unfortunately not.
You won't get another full training run as an 8?
Not until we race.
Is that important?
I think so, because as I said, that the 8 is getting better every outing. And the reason it's getting better is because we haven't had much training together as an 8. We have usually 1 out in a week and raced on Saturday. And fortunately, up to now, that we've been fast enough to win all our races, so this is fine. But one would have liked at this stage to have been out more often, just to tidy it up that little bit more, to give that little extra speed. It won't give much, but a little. It might mean half a length over this course, and that can easily be the difference between winning and losing.
Torture time. The cocks of the first and third boat and one of his rivals come to the local brewery to sweat off some more weight. It's a tradition. In the malty humidity, they climb into a vat to shovel steaming hops. The air temperature in there is 146.
Two, there. 3, there.
Okay. Ian, is this an essential part of your sport?
Well, in some ways, yes. It's about the only thing I can do to help the crew.
How much weight do you want to lose?
Well, I've lost a stone so far in the last week, and I really ought to have lost another stone if possible.
Another stone?
Yeah, but I don't see myself doing it.
How important do you think that one more stone is? How much difference will 14 pounds less of you make to the crew's chances?
Well, we'll have long arguments with the crew about this, but on the whole, it will make a few foot difference over the Henley course, which can be enough to win the race.
Ian collapsed in the heat a few minutes later. Down on the river, the Russians have arrived. They're beefier and more experienced than most of the crews, and they have a formidable reputation. They're also giants. Many of the oarsmen here are fitter now than they'll ever be again. Henley is the climax, and once you've passed it, there can be a temptation to do the rest of your rowing in the club bar. But for some, rowing is a lifelong addiction, and they keep coming back for another taste.
Oh, at Henley, any oarsman or sculler has a wonderful time. The officials here, particularly Frank in charge of the tents, can't do enough to help people out. They let you bring your double or your single up. You go on and enjoy yourself. Then I get in touch with the Americans or anybody who would I like to go for a scull. So I went to the British interpreter for the Russian team and said, I would love to scull with one of the Russians. And he spoke to one of the interpreters, whatever it was, and in a few seconds he said, I've arranged for you to go out with one of my scullers tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. So the next morning I turned up at 11, and lo and behold, there was the Russian, couldn't speak a word of English except good morning. And we went out in my double, and we had a beautiful trip up to the lock and back. I've sculled.
Was he good?
He was absolutely wonderful. He could, he could leave me standing. Of course, a much younger man, but he was great. I've since been out with several Americans. I'm going out with another American on Friday afternoon, and I go out with my 2 lads, you see, through the day, and I'm having simply a wonderful, marvellous time, reliving old memories.
These men constitute the iron hand in Henley's velvet glove.
I'm going to try and lose it before the winter.
They're scouts from the Oxford colleges, which means that their normal job is to clean the rooms of the students. But it's a tradition that they come to Henley each year to act as discreet and gentle policemen in the steward's enclosure.
Well, welcome back to all the old stages.
On the first day of the regatta, the secretary instructs them in the niceties of the job in a briefing laced with graceful euphemisms.
Now, if people try and come in slovenly dress, we ask them to leave. And if people become confused with the champagne, we conduct them quietly to the door. it is a tradition also that when you talk to a member, you slightly raise your hat. And we try and show them every courtesy. And I suppose the Oxford Scouts are probably the best known, or amongst the best known aspects of Henley. Now, one other thing, some of these overseas crews arrive and they just haven't brought the proper dress. Would it be possible for you to use your discretion so that if a chap comes in a tracksuit and obviously comes from Russia or somewhere where he may not have brought any other clothes, you do in fact ignore the fact that he's not keeping up with the dress regulations and simply let him by. If you're a bit worried, don't stop him. Come and ask me or Mr. Clifford and we will help you. Well, as I say, we hope you will have as good a day and as good a week as all the rest of us, and the best of luck to you. And thank you very much for coming.
London and Orange Coast. When you are straight and ready, I shall start you like this. Are you ready? Go. Get ready, please. You're not straight, coxes. Hold up your hands and shout.
Bow.
Are you ready? Go!
Get it going!
Another Henley has started. On the river, the oarsmen heave and strain, and on the lawns, the Henley English blossom in the July sun. People who met under the same oak in the steward's enclosure last year and the year before that and the year before that meet there again.
All changeless, you know, all you. Year after year.
Also strike 33 by a little over 11.
I say, good news, Jeremy.
Splendid news, Jeremy. Yes, he passed all as well.
Oh, good. So he's coming to Pangbourne.
He's going to Pangbourne.
Yes, a good rowing school. Do you think he'll row?
Oh, I think so, yes, he loads cricket.
Oh, so he will. Yes.
Is your son going to row?
Well, he's rather good on cricket, I'm afraid, so we're a little bit, you know,
Yeah,
either way.
We're very much hoping Jeremy will row, because I used to row, so
Yes, it's all come through in the family.
Yes.
Well, I think Mark will probably, having been brainwashed, you know, by all this going on, all the crews I have, perhaps join him too.
You have a crew, do you?
Yes, first and third.
First and third expected to win easily in their first race, and they do.
When I start you, I shall start you like this. Are you ready? Go.
At other regattas, the umpire says, "Get ready, go." Henley umpires inquire, "Are you ready?"
Are you ready? Go!
The Thames Tradesmen's 8 have their first opponent beaten in a matter of moments. They keep going hard, though, to make up for some of the training they missed when their four went off and trained on their own. In the steward's enclosure, the scouts watch for gate crashes to this canvas fortress of the rowing establishment. Outsiders may measure occasions like this in terms of gallons of champagne and hundredweights of smoked salmon consumed. The insiders measure it in acquaintances renewed, links kept up, and attitude to life confirmed. It's hot, but etiquette demands thick blazers and tight caps. It makes for thirst, but no one gets confused. Over in the public enclosure, there are no rules about dress. You just pay your 50p and wear what you like. Ours is probably not an era of elegance, and this public enclosure is perhaps a truer reflection of the spirit of the age. Relax and enjoy yourself. If part of the regatta is like an old Rolls Royce, this bit's the Ford Escort, and it's fun. You see plenty of children here, but almost none in the steward's enclosure, where they'd be bored by the formality that goes with the elegance. This public enclosure is new, a concession by the stewards to the changing times. The stewards who run Henley are old rowing men who seem to go on forever. Many of them have been doing it since the 30s.
Now, you've been
A steward, helping to run the thing for 38 years now.
Oh, you've got your facts right. I'd forgotten that.
How does it run so smoothly? What's the secret?
I think the secret is that we all work together very much the way you row, and I think we learned that in our early years. We work together as a team. There's no one that anyone is ahead of anyone else. But we all just do our best for the regatta, and we all just adore and love the regatta. That's really what it comes to.
When it comes to the regatta itself, what job do you do?
I was for about 25 years an umpire, and then they had this idea that directly when we reached the age of 70, you became automatically a complete lunatic, and you weren't allowed to do anything, and nothing to be trusted to you, so you couldn't umpire. I think I'm at the height of my powers as regards umpire, but now I've been relegated. And again, I don't say relegated because I just love the job, and I've been relegated. I'm a recorder. It's called a recorder. You write down how many strokes, God knows why, but they row in a minute, and how far one was leading at a certain point. I don't suppose a person ever reads it afterwards. The amount of writing I have to do is quite absurd, but it's enormous fun. It keeps me out of harm's way.
Sweat and statistics, with every stage of every race faithfully recorded in the stern of the umpire's launch.
3.5, 4 lengths, 4 lengths.
If I haven't had a time or few,
2:18. 5 lengths, number 2.
In the prow of the launch, the umpire is ready to disqualify any crew that infringes a rule. A stretch of river, a body of devoted organisers, and 134 years of tradition. And it all adds up to a kind of perfection. No photo finishes, just the meticulous eyes of the stewards in the finishing box.
The progress board, Harvard have increased their rate of striking to 40.
More stewards work the commentary system, helpful for the spectators who can only be at one vantage point on a course which is over 1.25 miles long.
Coming up to the finish, Harvard continue to draw away from last.
Well, let's put these two up here. Right.
It's 6 o'clock. It's been a long, hot day. The chairman's carnation is wilting a little, and he's starting the complicated business of arranging the races for tomorrow. It's a tiring job, and they need to get it finished, but something more important intervenes. Not many Britons stand up for the national anthem these days. You only have to be in any cinema at the end of the evening to see that. But at Henley, patriotism is strong, and they stand even when they are inside and the band is outside 100 yards away.
There's no reason at all why we shouldn't have these.
The chairman is pushing everything into place for tomorrow with a firm hand when he stubs his finger on an awkward member of the younger generation. A gentlemanly wrangle breaks out.
Well, we wouldn't like to race twice a day.
You've got to race. Well, you've got to race twice a day if you win.
Yes, well, what's the position on this? Because normally the semi-finals on the Saturday in the Whitefield.
It's impossible. You see, in this kit, tomorrow we have a crew who are in both the Thames Cup and the Whitefield. And therefore, when this happens, you must have 2 rounds of the Whitefield on Friday, because if you don't, then this crew may have to row 4 times on Saturday.
Fine, that's quite clear. I understand the position now. That makes absolute sense. But it would obviously not make sense to have one race at 4 and another one at 6:30. I think we must jib at that. Certainly, I as coach...
Are you prepared to jib to the extent of insisting on withdrawal by your opposite crew?
That's what it amounts to.
I don't think it would be fair on my crew, certainly is the way I feel as coach, to ask them to row at 4 and then to try and race again and have a good chance of winning at 6:30. No, I don't think that's fair on them. It's as unfair on them to ask them to do that as it would be the other crew to accept what are the normal course of events in a regatta, in that it is a 4-day regatta, and that they must be prepared to race at a reasonable time on a Friday if they're going to race at all.
Would you feel that if it was the other way around?
If I had entered the regatta knowing that it was a 4-day regatta, yes. I think we must insist on that, yes.
I put it to you that if it was the other way around and you were being excluded from the regatta because one of your chaps was a working man, and this will not do your image very much good.
The next day's programme reveals that the argument ended in a compromise and the regatta proceeds with assured calm. Crews who have been knocked out relax and talk about how it happened.
Went off like a rocket. And they went off at 37 strokes a minute, and after 10 strokes they were a length up.
The first and third crew are still in, but the race ahead of them now has got them worried. They're up against Harvard, one of the American crews they've been dreading.
Can you describe how you feel at the moment?
Pretty nervous. I think we can win, but I think we'll have to row above ourselves to do so. That's probably what makes it more tense than usual.
So this could very easily be the end of it all.
It could be, yeah.
Do you think you'll make it?
Yes. I think, well, if we row as well as we have done, we could do, yes. I wouldn't like to say any more than that, though.
Did you sleep well last night?
No. Not very.
Did the others?
No.
If it's a very tight race and they begin to take it up around the mile mark, then you'll have to go with them. Contain your race. Contain the race.
Do you want us to wait for them to take it home or take it home ourselves?
I would like you to take it home yourselves. The element of surprise might be very crucial in this particular race.
Well, I'd like to jump it just before the mile then.
All right. Provided you've got your stride and you're rowing correctly. You must come down to about 35, 36. Get that stride. Get that ratio. Be long in the water. Finish every drive out. Outside arm coming right through. Remember the basic stuff. All the basic stuff that we've been talking about. Okay? And just be goddamn determined to win this race.
Watch your legs. Watch it. Watch your legs, fine.
First and third head for the starting line, very far from psyched up. 9 young men in a state of wretched anticipation. And while they're killing themselves out on the course, the band plays on.
First and third Trinity at 39. Harvard still lead by about 1 length. The result of that heat of the Ladies' Challenge Plate was that Harvard University of the United States of America beat first and third Trinity Boat Club Cambridge by 2/3 of a length, time 6:34. The record set up yesterday by the University of Wisconsin, and the final time of 6:34 beats the record set up yesterday again by the University of Wisconsin by 2 seconds.
You heard their times.
Yeah.
And the record the whole way through.
They had to break records to beat you. That's what I said. I mean, you're right in that class.
Yeah.
Almost did it.
I thought rowing like that we could catch them.
I'm afraid the ladies are a little stacked this year. Any other year, that performance would have won it.
We couldn't have done a second better anyway, so that's...
I didn't say it went really well.
You've got to beat the previous record by 6 seconds in order to lose by 2/3 of a minute.
What was the fantastic
race?
They beat it by 10 seconds. They beat the previous one by 8, and we would have been cheated 6:36. You see,
So it's a great job. You've got a lot to be proud of.
That's my solicitor. You just want to keep on the right side of the law.
Got to keep on the right side.
Got 5 minutes.
No, finish it off.
Very nice to
On shore, the sounds of Henley are of tinkling laughter and glasses. On the water, it's the creaking of boats, the sluicing of oars, and the grunting of oarsmen. In the days when these Henley men were children, when they were the terrors of the lower third at prep school, they must have been dressed very much as they are now. To judge from the clothes, Henley is a feast of nostalgia.
I haven't missed a Henley since, I think, 1937, I think it was, or 36 or 37, one of the two.
How long have you had your cap?
Oh, about 20 years, I think.
Same one every year?
Same one every year, yes. It's carefully put away for the next year.
What do you think of the male style of dress here?
I
School
love
uniform,
it.
really,
I love it. I think it's absolutely marvellous. I mean, I've just seen an old gentleman. He must be at least 80, and he was sitting just in front of us, wearing his Cambridge blue blazer and his Cambridge cap, which he must have won 60 or more years ago. And I think it's marvellous to see people still coming here like that, still dressed as they were then.
Oh, John, I'm Mark. Well done.
Thank you very much
All
indeed.
those records.
Well, yes.
The defeated first and third men have washed away their sweat, but not their disappointment. They'd always planned to console themselves with champagne and strawberries if they lost, and live it up in the steward's enclosure for the last days of the regatta. But defeat, for them, if not for their hostess, feels worse than they'd imagined.
I'm going to go home tonight, actually. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, of course not.
Khrushchev, I wondered if I could take my camp bed and give whatever her name is my
right.
manager.
We can swap. Yes, yes, we can swap. That's all right.
I hate sticking around once you've lost, actually. Telling people, you know, how you've just lost.
Oh, dear, so you're quite going to go home and retire.
Yeah.
But with honour, anyway, I think, you know.
My final Henley, yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed for everything. It's just been a tremendous time.
Well, we enjoyed having you. I hope you'll come and see us if you're down next year.
The Thames tradesmen's 8 are still in, and so are the 4 of them who decided to row in the 4s as well. Whether you see this as a piece of rugged individualism or as a piece of selfishness, one thing is certain. The easy win they're having in this round is going to put them into a final tomorrow, which will be a hard race, and they'll have to row twice with the 8 as well. It may be years since they last raced, but rowing men's arms never forget. And then the inevitable happens. Finals day. Preparations for the prize giving start in good time before the racing.
I've been embarrassed a bit in the past because we get up here and you've got still 3 or 4 bars to play or whatever. I don't understand about the bars. And we're standing here like dummies while the music still goes on. So what happens is Mr. Payne waves you when we get to the bottom of the steps. And that gives you time to finish the time you've got to the top, more or less.
How quickly can you cut off?
Straight away.
You
As soon as
can.
I see your signal.
You can.
It's unmusical, but I can do it.
Well, I think this is the thing. If you're giving the way more or less at the bottom of the steps, is what we've done in the past, and then you're not frightfully hurried.
But you'd like to do it at the end of a bar or something?
We like to finish at the end of what we call a phrase, like as in grammar.
Well, how long are there between phrases?
There are only 8-bar phrases in Lincolnshire poetry.
Well, then, if I gave you the signal when at the bottom of the stairs, you could almost be musical.
Yes, we could.
Take that crew off really hard from the first stroke.
The Thames Tradesmen's 8 go into their semi-final with a confident briefing.
Well, it's all right, because you're perfectly capable of rowing through them and through Wisconsin as well. But I don't think you'll have to do that. I think the thing will be to really hold it over the second half. Are you happy? Are you not worried? Let's go out and beat Wisconsin.
It's much tougher than they expected. It's touch and go.
Passing the open stand, Thames Tradesmen are striking 38 and still have a very slight lead over Wisconsin. Wisconsin striking 30. Thames Tradesmen lead by just 2 or 3 feet. Just coming up to the finish. And Thames Tradesmen still have that very slight lead.
Wisconsin have given the tradesmen a gruelling race. The tradesmen have won, but they're spent. They'll need time to recover before the final this afternoon. The captain is anxious. The 4 at the back of the boat have another race before then. It can't help.
Well, it must take a little more out of them, must it? We know that they are of very high quality, but they're going to have their hardest race of the Fords competition today. They will win. I'm confident they'll win. But it's a question of how much they have to take out of themselves in winning, and whether it can come back in time for when we go out in the 8 again, which is going to be another hard one like the semi-final.
Oh,
found about half the 8 of 1956.
Yes, we're all gathered around here.
Well, it's 2 generations then now.
Yes.
Almost 3.
Almost 3, yeah.
Your name?
Pargeter, Fred Pargeter.
But you weren't Jesus College?
Oh, yes, we rode together.
Number 7.
We rode together. I rode at 7 and he rode at Bow.
You came in in 54?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
that's it. 55 I first rode.
And 55. You rode here in the visitors? And
in the 56 one.
Yes,
yes.
One time you hit the booms.
Yes. We hit the booms, I mean...
Oh, now I remember, it's coming back to me.
The Russians swing through their final to beat an American crew and take the top prize of the regatta, the Grand Challenge Cup.
The final of the Grand Challenge Cup was won by Trud Kolomna of the Soviet Union, who beat Northeastern University of the United States of America by 2 2/3 lengths. Time 6:23.
The sun's out again, and picnics are bursting out all over.
I've been up and down.
Another Henley day passes sublimely by. The tradesmen get ready for their final against Princeton. The 4 have been out and won, so it only remains to see how much strength they've got left.
How do you feel about this one?
A bit nervous, a little bit tired after the 4's race, but not too bad.
You are a bit tired after that 4, are you?
What are the others going to say to you
race.
if you lose it narrowly and you've been in the 4?
If they got any breath to say anything and we lose this one, then that means they haven't been working, so they better not say anything. They shouldn't say anything. We haven't saved ourselves for the 4 at all or anything like that. We've just taken each race as it's come along. They knew we'd do that when we sort of said we ran the 8, you know. So that's the way you take it.
No guilt at all.
Got them this far. They've never been this far before.
What do you mean by that?
It's the first time the club has ever made the final in an 8 at Henley.
Are you ready? Go!
Princeton University of the United States of America beat Thames Tradesmen Rowing Club by 1/3 of a length, time 6:37. The presentation of prizes from the open stand in the steward's enclosure will take place at 6:15.
Nobody says much. There isn't much to say.
All right. All right, darling.
At this moment, everyone is close to tears.
A bit too much, I suppose. The race in the morning was a little bit too hard, and just didn't have the last bit when it was needed.
It was very close, wasn't it?
We couldn't have gone harder, you know. We rode as fast as we possibly could at the time. We was probably just a little bit too tired from this morning. We just didn't recover in time.
Did the fact that 4 of you had rowed separately in the 4 as well make all the difference, do you think?
It's very difficult to say. I think probably we went as fast as we've probably ever gone.
Grand Challenge Cup. Road Columna.
Okay.
You get the medal.
Oh, yeah. Placebo, you could say.
Well, if we hadn't done the 4, we would have won it, I think. If we hadn't doubled up, we would have won it almost certainly.
Prince Philip Challenge Cup, Northeastern University Rowing Association.